Islam. It is June the 6th, and it's about 2 p.m. This is my second time coming out. There's someone that came out. Looks like he's there. I don't know. There's a person like doing some yard cleaning here. So I'm at Extended Stay America. Islam Peak, the Wayne Baffle Bay. I'm about to read, okay? So I'm gonna read Cosmic Mother. It's about it's probably like 78 degrees today, or maybe 81. I forgot to bring my marker. That's okay. So this is the introduction. I've already read the beginning, so this is the introduction. It says, let's see. Okay, so it says, the Great Mother in her many aspects, maiden, raging warrior, benevolent mother, death-dealing and all-wise prone, unknowable and ultimate weird, is now powerfully re-emerging and rising again in human consciousness as we approach the 21st century. Isis, Mayu, Lisa, Demeter, Gaia, Skalti, Daphnis, Sheknia, Astar, Ishtar, Rhea, Freya, Nathis, Brigdig, Danu, call her what you may, has been with us from the beginning and awaits us now. She is the beauty of the great earth, the life-giving waters, the consuming fire, the radiant moon, and the fire sun. She is star goddess and spider woman. She weaves the luminous web that creates the universe. As Earth, the great planetary spirit being, she germinates life within her dark womb. After thousands of years of life, denying and anti-evolutionary patriarchal cultures that have raped, ravaged, and polluted the earth, she returns. The Earth's immune system is breaking down, and so is ours. Her soul, atmosphere, plant life, trees, and animal worlds are exhausted beyond endurance. All beings are suffering and can take no more. Based in matricide, the death of all nature, and the utter exploitation of women, Western culture has now run itself into the ground. And there is no other way but to return to the mother who gives us life. If we are to survive, we have to attune yet again to the spirits of nature. And we must learn to hear the voices of the ancestors who speak to us from their other world realms. I should have brought my which is good. That's okay. I'm going to continue. I should have brought my highlighter. Okay. It's okay. I'm Rhonda Arrington-Bey. There is a growing feminization of poverty worldwide, especially in the lands, especially in the third world, more truly the first world, where women's livelihood and lands are being taken from them, much thanks to Western United States imperialism and so-called development schemes that exclude women. In the Western world, the assault on women's last remnants of autonomous powers, the destruction of our ancient knowledge of healing and of magical technology that enhance our psychic powers as well as the fertility of the land, came about with the witch hunts that lasted more than 300 years. In Europe, it has taken women until now to even dare to think our own thoughts and to articulate them, to dream our own dreams. We are the wise women returning to this dangerous hour because women worldwide are and always were the guardians of the living earth, as are all the surviving native tribal shamanistic peoples who still commune with the spirits. I was involved with the anarchs and anti-Vietnam War movement. Anarchists and anti-Vietnam War movements in Sweden in the 1960s. I've been active in the women's movement in Britain since the beginning. My political activism always grew out of my spiritual understandings of the earth as the living mother, because the goddess is injured wherever there is injustice, wanton cruelty, poverty, and pollution. Of course, the goddess is not just benevolent and fertile. She is also death, dealing, and the destroyer. But these are natural forces, neither good nor bad, and the impersonal universal dance. But what I am speaking of here is the destruction brought about by the selfish and despotic patriarchs, male brotherhoods who hate organic life in itself and desire to become disembodied, thereby returning to an abstract and impossible father who desires sterile death with no rebirth for us all. I do not believe that it is biologically given in men to be violent and destructive. There would never have been peaceful maternal cultures such as we explore in this book if this were so. And I just want to say, you might hear someone talking. They're not in the video, okay? They're people that just pulled up, and sometimes they're sitting out over here in the corner over there. Out when I open my window, they're out there, so they're not in the this video. Imani Gray Bay and I, Rhonda Arrington-Bey, we don't know anyone here personally in Annapolis, Maryland. No one here can ever say that we have implied that we want to get to know any one of these residents that live in Annapolis, Maryland personally as Celestial Moore. Okay, so let me continue. Okay, so now she just repeated what I just said. And so I don't know if she's part. So many times people are talking outside and around the room, and she's one of the ones that be sitting outside. I think she. I don't know if she worked for Extended Stay, but she just repeated what I just said about not knowing anyone. I don't know who's. I'm saying Burger King, military, P slamming the doors. I mean, really slamming the doors loud. So I don't know, but so anyway, moving forward. Saying I love you, she love your son. You know, I don't know exactly who and why would they be saying it, but it definitely sounds like mental illness, like a high form of mental illness for real. So let me continue. Let's see, organic life. So it says, but what I am speaking of here is the destruction brought about by the selfish and despotic patriarchs, male brotherhoods who hate organic life in itself and desire to become disembodied, thereby returning to an abstract and impossible father who desires sterile death with no rebirth for us all. I do not believe that it is biologically given in men to be violent and destructive. There would never have been peaceful maternal cultures such as we explore in this book if this were so. I am primarily an artist, a creator of visionary images, who also felt an urgent need to communicate through writing. The reason I originally wrote the first pamphlet about the ancient goddess in 1975, titled The Ancient Religion of the Great Cosmic Mother of All, and run off on stencils, was because I needed to clarify to myself and to others where my images came from. But then I had created many goddess paintings. My early images had a strange, archaic quality about them, as if they came from another time and space. At the time, I felt utterly alone in my work and in what I was attempting to express. God Giving Birth, 1968, is a sacred painting in which I wanted to holistically express my growing religious belief in the Great Mother as the cosmic spirit and generative force in the universe. To my utter amazement, it nearly brought me to court over the years for obscenity and blasphemy. The inspiration for the painting was the natural home birth of my second son in 1961. Now, 29 years ago, which felt to me like a first initiation to the Great Mother and opened me to her in vision and dreams. Let me read that again. The inspiration for the painting was the natural home birth of my second son in 1961. Now, 29 years ago, which felt to me like a first initiation to the Great Mother and opened me to her in visions and dreams. I always experienced my art as what can only be described as a shamanic process, entering into a state of being or mind where knowledge is available from past, present, and future. This way of knowing belongs to the lunar mother, who is both dark and light. She of the dark nights and inner radiant light, like that of the moon, who gives us dreams and illuminations. No surprise, perhaps, that many of my images appear to be moonlit, and that I have been sorely tested by the dark light mother who has taken back to herself two of my beloved sons. My youngest son, part Afro-American and Swedish, was run down and killed in front of my eyes in a Basque country in South France. My oldest son died from lymphoma cancer in July of 1987, and my new journey began through grief and numbing pain, truly a darkness of my soul during which I didn't want to live and at times hated everything alive. I have come through this still loving this beautiful earth and mother. I have now returned to painting and writing, exhibiting and traveling. It gave me hope to watch the courage and the loving energy my oldest son radiated before his death, in spite of his pain and illness. My sons communicate with me in dreams. I have exhibited with other goddess artists in Britain, Germany, and Scandinavia. Most recently, I took part in two exhibitions. The Goddess Reemerging, the Glastonbury, September 1989, and with Chris Castle in Stones, and the Goddess in Berkeley. So, wait a minute. So these are, okay, the Goddess Reemerging. So she's saying I took part in two exhibitions. The Goddess Reemerging in Glastonbury, September 1989, and the Chris Castle in Stones, and the Goddess in Berkeley, May 1990. Everywhere I have traveled, I have also given slideshow talks about my art and life, ancient cultures, the goddess, and her sacred sites. I live in Bristol, a city in the southwest of England, not far from Glastonbury and Avebury, ancient sacred places of the Neolithic Mother Glastonbury Tor, or the Isle of Evelyn, is a three-dimensional labyrinth with an indwelling goddess, with blood well, chalice well in its skirts. It's in an otherworld place of death and magical rebirth. Stillbury Mound, the pregnant womb of the earth, along with the Avebury Stone Circle, and West Kennet, Long Barrow, abode of the Dark Mother, is the most sacred and magical, powerful goddess site in the Northern Hemisphere. It was here that I had a transformative experience in an altered state in 1978 that utterly changed my life and work. It was on Stillbury that for the first time I truly knew that the earth is her living body. I also felt her grief and pain, her great love and rage. It was this experience that tore me apart. It also gave me joy, and I had to leave the city. I went to live in Pembrokeshire in the ancient Welsh countryside, where there are so many remains of the Neolithic and Celtic past, and many holy wells, standing stones, and sacred trees. Here I learned to grow a garden, to live with the seasons, to follow the moon in her changes. I have journeyed like a pilgrim in the British Isles, in Ireland, and in the Scottish Highlands, and islands, to many of the so numerous sacred sites. I have followed the trails of the Celtics back to their sacred place in Germany and have visited Karnak and Bregnik. I have had powerful experiences in Newgrange in the Bourne Valley in Ireland, and at Challonish Stone Circle in Louise in the Outer Hebrides. The stone circles, wells, and mounds are trace-inducing places, window areas into other realities, where the voices of the ancestors, the blessed dead, the shining ones, or the fairies speak to us in visions, dreams, giving healing and prophecy from the magical of the world realms of the Mother. The Great Cosmic Mother is a central part of the reemergence of the Mother and of another and far more ancient consciousness intelligence. We are pioneers in this great movement, along with many other writers, artists, poets, and thinkers that will have to succeed or we will die. I want to make it clear that Barbara Moore is the book's main author. The reason for this is that when the time came to rework and extend our original work, my youngest son had just been killed, and I had moved back to Bristol to live with my oldest son, who was suffering from cancer. I was unable to work on the book at that point. I even feared it. Barbara Moore, poet, scholar, and word magician, had to spend months writing, researching, and vastly extending this book from our early and more collaborative, The Ancient Religion of the Great Cosmic Mother of All, published in 1981 by Rainbow Press in Norway. That version in its turn was worked out by both of us over several years from the original pamphlet that had been written and conceived by me in 1975. Our book has indeed been a very long labor of love and has gone through many transformations along the way. I want to thank John and Ruth Mountaingrove of the former Oregon Woman Spirit Journal, who brought me and Barbara Moore together originally, for the support they gave. They also distributed the Rainbow Press version of the book in the United States. I also want to thank John Vinhen of Rainbow Press and Trondheim for having had the vision and courage to publish a book in English. Being a small